Good morning. My name is Destiny Jones, and today I will be making my persuasive speech on capital punishment. The death penalty is not about whether people deserve to die for the crimes they commit. The real question of capital punishment is, in this country, do we deserve to kill? Written by Brian Stevenson in the book Just Mercy, A Story of Justice and Redemption. Imagine the person sitting next to you committed an unthinkable crime. They went to trial and they were convicted of capital murder and were sentenced to death. I know you're probably thinking, well, they deserved it. But why do us Americans or anybody get to think like that? I have researched the ins and outs of capital punishment. I will be discussing the different methods and why I and you too should not believe in capital punishment. Capital punishment has progressed through years. Early forms were painful and slow. The capital punishment was a common response for petty crimes like robbery or lying. The earliest form was crucifixion. According to the death penalty Information Center, methods of execution can include lethal injection, electrocution, lethal gas, hanging, and firing squad. Capital punishment can be applied in an unjust and unfair manner. Many factors play into this: the color of your skin and whether you have a good lawyer. I have some examples of unjust manners, like the calling of two innocent men's lives. I found these cases on the National Conference of State Legislators website. The first case was Carlos de Luna. Carlos was executed in 1989 for stabbing a gas station clerk to death. There was no witness that could clearly state what had took place that day. But because of de Luna's record of robbery, the cops and the investigators believed that he was guilty. So, when the jury convicted De Luna of capital murder and he was sentenced to death. Another case is Ruben Cantu. In 1985, Ruben was a high school student convicted of capital murder of Pedro Gomez. Ruben wrote many letters to the people explaining and claiming his innocence. Eyewitnesses could not recall what had happened, just like in the case with De Luna. But because the two live victims had picked Cantu out of a lineup, the jury convicted him of capital murder and he was also sentenced to death. I read an article called The Innocent Project that listed 18 people who were put on death row for crimes they didn't commit. A couple of names is Kirk Bloodsworth. He was convicted of rape and murder and was exonerated, and was put on death row for 7 years. He was exonerated from DNA testing in 1993, but had already been killed. And the other one was Frank Lee Smith. He was convicted of rape and murder and served 14 years on death row. He had died of cancer while serving on death row. His name was later cleared 11 years later. Capital punishment is an easy way out for the law. I believe it's just a done-up way of saying an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth. It just doesn't seem like justice. As we've seen and heard, capital punishment should not be allowed due to the unjust and unfair mannerisms. I have told you the methods used for the death penalty, and I have briefly explained why I do not agree with capital punishment. As I close, look next to you The person sitting with you could be the next falsely accused or poorly unrepresented on death row. Do we have that right to say someone deserves to live or die based on the crimes that they may have or may have not committed? Thank you.